All right, now that you understand the way the write concern works and the J value and the W value, you may think that you can write code in a way that is pretty safe and that you'll know always for sure what happened in terms of an update. But unfortunately, it's not quite true. And let me explain to you why. So let's say that you set J equals to be true and W equal to be 1. So you're running in a very conservative mode. And you do an update or an insert to MongoDB. Now, if you get a response back, an affirmative response, you know that it definitely happened. But what if you don't get a response back? Well, then what do you know? Well, the likelihood is it didn't happen, but it might have happened. And the reason why it might have happened is that there are network errors. There are reasons why you may not receive the affirmative response. So you can send a request from the application through PyMongo to MongoD. It could complete it successfully, and then there could be a TCP reset, and the network connection could get reset in a way that you never see the response. So you get an error, and on the error you might assume, oh, I got an error, it didn't happen, but it may have happened. Now, we'll go over later the different types of errors you can get in PyMongo and talk about which ones indicate this problem potentially and what you could do about it. Generally speaking, for an insert, it's possible to guard against this. And the reason it's possible to guard against this is that if you let the driver create the underscore ID and you do an insert into the database, then you could do that insert multiple times and there won't be any harm. Because if you do it the first time and you get an error, then you can always just do it again. And if you do it the first time and you get an error and you're not sure whether or not the insert completed because it's a network error, you could still try to perform the insert again. And provided you try to perform it with the exact same underscore ID, the worst case scenario is you'll get a duplicate key error when you try to insert it. However, an update is really where the problem occurs, especially an update that is not particularly idempotent, that for instance includes a $inc command. So you're telling the database to increment a certain field. Well, in that case, if you get back a network error, you don't know whether or not the update occurred. Now, maybe you know enough about the values that you can check whether or not the update occurred, which is fine. But if you don't know the starting value in the database for that field, then it's not possible for you to know whether or not it occurred or not in the case where you get a network error. So I just want to make that point that there is this level of uncertainty. Now, in practice, when the network is running well, it's very rare to have a situation where you get an error back because of some sort of connection problem or transient problem, and in fact, the operation did succeed at the database. It's extremely rare. And if you really want to avoid it at all costs, what you basically need to do is turn all your updates into inserts by reading the full value of the document out of the database and then potentially deleting it and inserting it again, or just inserting a new one, in which case you won't have this problem. Okay, so now it's time for a quiz. What are the reasons why an application may receive an error back even if the write was successful? Check all that apply.